Hello and welcome to Rita's channel. Today I want to share with you the restoration process of this 1993 Glitter Hair Barbie. This is the condition in which she arrived to me, and I have to say that she's in a pretty good shape overall. She has her own ring, her hair is thick and uncut, it just feels a bit dry and matted. There's also this stain in her bangs, which I will try to remove with just a regular wash. Her body seems to be working pretty fine, apart from her waist, which feels a bit stuck and hard to move. To me, it seems like there's some grime or dirt trapped between the connecting parts of her torso. Here you can see some unusual marks around the waist, so I wonder if that indicates any water damage. And because she does have a musty smell, I'm slightly leaning towards that option. She did come with her original earrings, but I removed them before the recording because her hair was badly tangled around them. And removing them will just make it easier for me to brush through her hair and make sure that there are no tangles around the earrings. And yeah, I wanted to show you the hair brushing process too, but unfortunately I somehow forgot to press the record button and I don't have footage of it. But hey, here she is with her hair thoroughly brushed out and ready to be cleaned. For the brushing part, I used a white pet brush, which I found to be working the best when it comes to doll hair, especially Kanekalon hair and especially dry Kanekalon doll hair. So because I'm not sure if the doll did get moldy or not, I will first soak her legs and waist in a bit of a vinegar water mixture. I'm using warm water to fill up the plastic container, just enough to cover her legs and waist. I'm then adding a bit of 6% white vinegar. There's no exact measurement I'm following, I'm pretty much just eyeballing it. Then I mix it in with my hand, which I of course immediately have to wash off, and I leave the doll to sit in the mixture overnight. After that I check on the results, and luckily the dirt is gone and her waist moves much better now. I'll just give it a good brushing to remove any remaining dirt. And now her waist moves super smoothly and seems to be mostly clean. And now she is ready for the main part. To clean the doll, I use regular dish soap, which I mix with very warm to hot water in a wash bowl. The water is hot, but not too hot, so I can still put my hands in it. So here I decided to comb through the doll's hair once more using a fine tooth comb, just to make sure there are no more tangles left before I soak her in the soapy bubbly bath for a couple of hours. After the initial soak, the stain on her bangs is now completely gone, so I just go ahead and clean her up with a toothbrush. To clean the hair, I'm just using a generic cheap shampoo I found at the local store. So here I'm using, again, a cheap generic conditioner. However, I have since then switched to a better quality version as I found that the generic one left a lot of residue and it was just difficult to wash out completely. I take my time to work the conditioner into the hair as best as I can to make sure that all the hair strands are coated well. Then I gently twist the hair up into a bun and leave the conditioner in for a while. Honestly, I'm not sure if that makes any difference with doll hair since it's synthetic, but at this point I'm still kind of experimenting and going with the flow. In the next step, I try to remove the musty odor of the doll, which I don't think the cleaning can do by itself. So as an extra step, I will now scrub the doll with baking soda and leave her covered in it overnight as well. I add just enough water to the baking soda to create a smooth paste, and I apply that with a toothbrush. When I brush the face area, I do it very gently to make sure that I don't damage the face paint. And here she is the next day. First, I remove the baking soda in a warm water bath. Next, I start very carefully combing through the conditioned hair to remove any remaining tangles. I'm now just brushing the hair very gently, and in fact, it's more like I'm carefully detangling it rather than combing. Glitter Hair Barbie was one of my childhood dream dolls. I never owned her myself, but my cousin had her back when I was a kid, and I remember wanting to play with her all the time whenever we were visiting. While playing though, I had to be super careful because my cousin was very keen on keeping her long hair nice. I remember though, literally dreaming about getting her as a present when I was a kid. I just loved the glitter gel that came with her, and she was just so pretty. Personally, I only had two budget plain-line Mattel Barbie dolls, which I nevertheless absolutely loved, and I played with them so much that they sadly didn't survive until today. But I was fascinated by the bent arms of Glitter Hair Barbie. To me, as a kid, the bent arms always looked somehow more luxurious. And I always wanted to own a doll with such bent arms. So, my dream is finally coming true. This turned out to be a very long process because I didn't want to rush through it to make sure that I don't pull out too much hair from the doll's head. Unfortunately, there will be hair loss, and I think that really is just unavoidable. And now we are ready for the real magic that is the boil wash. So, since there's a lot of conflicting information on what temperature is the best and which hair types can or cannot be treated with a boil wash, I first want to know how freshly boiled water behaves. For that, I will be using a kitchen thermometer, which will help me keep an eye on the water temperature. I used an electric kettle to boil the water, and I noticed that the temperature actually started dropping quite fast after the water has boiled. I rinsed the majority of the conditioner out of the hair, but I left some of it in for this step. The water is now just below 88 degrees, and as I dunked the hair in, I noticed that it curled up a bit as a reaction to the hot water, but this should be fixable by combing through the hair a bit. Again, I have to be very careful as the hair itself is very hot. The most common advice I have found online is to use water that's less than 90 degrees Celsius or about 194 Fahrenheit when working with Kanekalon hair. It's important not to tug on the wet hair too much because it can easily pull out the hair plugs or even break the doll's neck. Patience and persistence is key here. Please keep in mind that whenever you're working with hot water, you have to be extremely careful as you can burn yourself very easily. And also make sure that you're using a container which can hold boiling water. I'm still not sure if I'm doing things right, and the water is gradually cooling down, so I decided to refill the glass with hot water again. I quickly dunk the doll's hair into some lukewarm water and then continue with the boil wash. There really is no rule on how long this should take, so I'm just doing it until I'm happy with the results. Alright, the hair is starting to look great, so we can now rinse the hair thoroughly. Ouch! Please do not do what I just did there. I tried to take the hot glass out with my bare hand, and that's just an absolute no-go. I had a lot of trouble rinsing out the conditioner as it seemed to be never ending. Also, the hair is so long it wanted to go into the drain, so I needed to change my strategy a bit. I used a wash bowl to have the doll high enough to keep the hair from crawling into the drain hole. After some initial struggle to keep the bowl from tipping over, I then used the hand shower to rinse the hair with cold water and brush through the hair a bit more. Luckily, Barbie seems to be enjoying her spa day. One more quick rinse and we're done. Now I'm going to just gently dry her with a towel. Because I want her hair to dry as straight as possible, I lay her out on the towel and yes, you guessed it, I comb her hair again. Although I have to say that I found this to also help pull out the water from the hair, so it helps with the drying process too. And now I want to try and fix her dress. I was able to find a used one online, but it was missing all the glitter from the skirt. I really like the look with the glitter, so I want to try and return that look. Here you can see that I already experimented a bit and it seemed to work, so I'll just show you the process next. I was looking for a specific size of glitter for this project and I couldn't find any affordable loose glitter that would work. However, what I did find were these face glitter gels in my local cosmetics store, which contain various glitter sizes, including this that seems to be a close fit to what I'm looking for. This right here is what I need. In order to be able to use that, I first spread out a thin layer of this gel on a clean sheet of paper and let it dry completely. The top row is the pink glitter and the bottom row is the iridescent pearly one. I think the pink is a better match, so I'll go with that one. To glue the glitter pieces to the skirt, I'm using fabric glue. I chose this one as it dries transparent and should withstand a 40 degrees Celsius gentle wash in case I ever need to wash this dress again. To be able to glue the glitter onto the skirt, I first need to harvest it, for which I'll need a sharp tool. I like to use my handy dandy Swiss knife, although anything with a sharp enough edge should work. It doesn't really have to be a knife. Here is all the glitter I have harvested so far. As you can see, it's all loose. And whoops, that was already loose too, and I just managed to flick it away. Don't worry though, I'll pick that up later. So here I have very gently and slowly tried to pry up the glitter flake. It's very easy to flick away the pieces this way, so I did have to pick them up from around me sometimes. Okay. Let's do another one. And oh, see? That flew away. Luckily not too far. Most of them I was able to just pick up with my finger and drop them to the pile of other loose glitter. Next, I use a bit of the glue, which I will be applying using a toothpick. Again, it can be anything with a small tip. I then place a piece of paper or cardboard inside the dress to make sure I don't accidentally glue the inside of the dress together. Then I'll place a couple of small glue dots directly on the skirt. I usually do 5 to 6 dots at once. Then I take another toothpick, which I have just gently rubbed with a tiny bit of glue to make it just sticky enough to pick up the glitter pieces. I then use this toothpick to place individual glitter flakes on the glue dots. After that, I gently press down on the glitter to make sure it sticks well. And here's the finished dress. It took a couple of hours, but I'm very happy with the results. Now I'll just leave it to dry completely before I put it on the doll. And here she is, Glitter Hair Barbie in her full glory. I didn't have her original pink visor, but I replaced it with this neon orange one that I think suits her as well. So, what do you think? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this cleanup journey as much as I did, and I thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.